This is Sybert signing into Kane's Wrath on the map Tournament Rift with BikeRush as the red, R-17 in the left side versus Unleashed as the cyan nod on the right side. And this is going to be the 1.02 plus patch, or at least the 1.02 plus version of the map. And so, yeah, as a result of that, be sure that you do go ahead and grab the 1.02 plus patch if you would like to play on those maps. Also, the 1.03 versions and maps, if you would like those. Of course, you can hook them up, or you can pick them up at gamereplays.org. Bug and balance fixes, which are really quite nice. We do have a little bit of a shadow team rush. This is just most likely, yeah, exactly, so that Unleashed can secure those bottom spikes. Especially versus screen, you got to be careful because buzzer squads are just so slippery. They'll slip right past you, and actually slipping right past Unleashed rather is given the slip by BikeRush is what I was trying to say. However, we do have the two spikes on the south side looking to be captured by, oh, we do have the Buzzer's Hive taking up that building, which means Unleashed is going to have to be very careful. Fairly standard timings. Other than that, the bottom spike's looking to be captured by Unleashed, and we'll have to see if he's able to snipe it down that buzzer squad or not. And actually, kind of curious, two buzzer hives that aren't being sold off. Oh, we do have relatively fast tech, possibly just for some sort of devour tank rush, although BikeRush might be going for storm riders. Although, whoa, wait a second. Yeah, both of those engineers did get taken out. BikeRush going to be taking 1,000 credits effectively away from Unleashed. So good kill by BikeRush. And we'll have to see it. Yeah, it must be a Devour tank rush of some sort. No, it is actually not going to be. BikeRushOwnz getting the nerve center. And then I guess he was going to get an upgrade or something. He didn't get attenuated force fields. I'm actually kind of curious as to what he was really planning on doing with that. I'm guessing that he ended up spending too much money, didn't really have enough money to make it work, but he is going to be getting himself out that second Harvester. Unleashed doing the very similar thing. He's sitting on those two Harvesters as well. The Seeker Tank going to be moving out. It looks like it does have a Buzzer Squad hanging along for the ride with it. More scouts going to be heading out for Unleashed. Unleashed going to be bombing BikeRush a fair bit. Always, if you are going to call in the shadow teams for the bottom spikes, just make sure that you send them in, take out some power plants, force those rebuilds. That will at the very least put your opponent on edge. We do have the operations center going down, and possibly, yep, there we do see that Tiberium core added on, so that I'm assuming this flame tank can come out at a reasonable time. We'll have to see. Yes, it is going to be a flame tank. If you throw it on the operations center relatively fast like that and you don't go for a flame tank, then what are you actually doing? Shardwalker is going to be out, which, if this controls well, it can do some serious damage to the flame tank. But then again, Seekers are going to be the better bet for BikeRush. We'll have to see, are we going to be seeing an additional flame tank? Actually, this one does get spotted by that Seeker tank. Suddenly, BikeRush knows exactly what is going on. He's going to be pulling his units back. He needs to send them out to scout around. He needs to have eyes on this flame tank. Although he will be able to take it down relatively quickly. It should be able to do some damage, but I do not think it'll be able to take anything down other than the portal or the power plants, whichever one it does decide to go for. I would probably recommend going for the power plants. I don't think he's going to be able to take out the War Factory in time. Although if BikeRush messes this up, then he definitely could lose that War Factory. The War Factory may very well go down. It's going to be a very close race. And no building block. Yeah, there is the building block from BikeRush, and BikeRush almost messing that up. He might lose the War Factory anyway. No, it's barely away from dying, so he doesn't quite lose it there. But we do have a Reckoner squad with two engineers on the south side, as well as that flame tank going to be heading out as well, and BikeRush needs to make sure that he spots these. One Harvester going to be heading down south, and we'll have to see the stasis chamber now up and running. However, oh, there goes the bombs, taking it right down. He did get the repair on that, or he did get the sell-off and the repair on the War Factory, and other than that, Unleashed will be losing both of those shadow teams. Minor harassment there from that Buzzer Squad, more of just for scouting than anything. However, the Reckoner has been spotted. The Tiberium spikes still haven't been grabbed. So altogether, we do have those 4 engineers in total, which is 2,000 credits that Unleashed has been putting towards trying to capture those southern spikes. Has yet to see a return on that investment. MCB going to be packing up, as well as BikeRush's is also going to be packing up. However, the Reckoner Flame Squads are moving out. Unleashed being so aggressive in this match. It's almost like these two players have actually switched, as BikeRush is the one who normally is very aggressive in his play. Good, oh, not good control by BikeRush, as he does lose one of the Seekers there. And the Disintegrators is a good choice, but you have to be so careful that they do not get targeted down just like they were right there. One Seeker tank will be taking some damage. The Reckoner has been spotted once again. It is going to be heading down to the south. This time, I do not think BikeRush will be able to stop it. However, both of the Black Hand squads are now out. The Reckoner does get taken out. However, the crushing from BikeRush is going to be too good for these squads to really do anything. I think they were going for possibly the Engineer kill, or maybe just the Disintegrator squads. Engineer's going to be popping out for Unleashed. He's finally going to get the kills that he wants. While over here, we do have the expansion going to be set up at a relatively standard timing there. Nothing too late, nothing too crazy on that timing. It's not super early, but BikeRush has a pretty standard timing for that expansion as well. It is a little bit delayed as far as you can get it faster and still go pretty standard. Only 4 and 2 on the northern field, make that 3 and 2 as that extra harvester does head down to the south. And BikeRush needs to make sure that he controls properly, although Unleashed is really the one who needs to make sure that he's running over this Disintegrator squad. Losing one tank isn't a huge deal, but really versus BikeRush, you want to make sure that you have all of the units you can muster. 4 Seeker tanks going out to meet the force. BikeRush desperately needs to get a refinery on this southern field. He's currently rocking that 4 and 2 ratio at the top side. The Scorpion tanks will get the kill on that double vet Shardwalker, that elite Shardwalker, going to get taken down in a couple of more hits. There, the Scorpion tanks will be feeling good about that. Not a huge deal. BikeRush was most likely just looking for that, for the harassment and maybe a little bit of scouting, although likely more just for the scouting, not the harassment. The expansion going to be established relatively soon, slightly behind Unleashed's expansion. Tech out on the front line, going to be able to be spotted and sniped rather easily. However, Unleashed is going on the offensive, and BikeRush needs to regroup his army to really be able to hold this off. He loses one Scorpion tank, but he was able to crush the majority of those Disintegrators. He needs to make sure that he stays on top of this, and BikeRush is possibly doing the smart thing in running your buzzer squad in there, because there is a little bit of splash damage that can be done to your opponent's units if you do run your buzzer squads in really close to the Scorpion tanks. However, we do have, it looks like 6 bikes. A 7th did get taken out by that photon cannon of BikeRush. BikeRush holding that off relatively well. No real damage taken. However, at this point, harassing this northern field is not nearly as important as harassing the southern field, as this is where the real money is going to be for Unleashed over the next, or for BikeRush over the next course of a couple of minutes. Unleashed going in for the scout, which a lot of players do forget kind of that mid-game scout. They get into their mode, everybody goes, oh, we do have the 1-clicks being called down. It looks like it is going to be Tiberium Catalyst Vein Detonation, as my mouse freaks out, unfortunately, but also that Tiberium Catalyst Missile. So Tiberium Vein Detonation and the Catalyst Missile both going down. Not a huge amount of losses. Looks like one refinery did go down. Almost a couple of harvesters did go down. We need more than just one Scorpion tank, considering we do have the photon cannon there. And Unleashed throwing away individual units here and there. This is what he needs to be doing, is regrouping his forces, drawing them together, and going for this big power play of sniping harvesters. Where are the bikes? Why are the bikes not in here? The Scorpion tanks could be taking damage in the north side of this base, while the bikes swing around the south side and do damage to the unprotected rear flank. That is what really needs to be happening here. BikeRush going to be focusing down the bikes relatively well, throwing down an extra photon cannon. Not a bad idea. He will be able to snipe the majority of those bikes. One harvester does go down. The rest of these Scorpion tanks do get eliminated. Almost perfect hold off of that attack by BikeRush, losing only one harvester. Maybe 2. I think that was only 1. He might have lost 2 in total there, but he's going to be mounting his own offensive. The bottom spikes have been held for the last 2 or 3 minutes by Unleashed, but we do have that Redeemer Engineering facility. It looks like he did sell off his tier 4 tech, so no more super 1-clicks for Unleashed. Yeah, he sold that off after using the Tiberium Catalyst Missile and the Vein Detonation. Oh, he'll get some free kills here. Unleashed going to be able to take out a couple of Disintegrator squads, which is great for him. Injecting at just the right time. He probably won't get any more kills, but this is a good move by BikeRush, taking this blue Tiberium while he is going on the offensive. because you can go ahead and leech that blue Tiberium. That's 5,600 credits that BikeRush will be able to capture as long as the Tiberium harvesting rates haven't changed in the 1.02 plus or I guess it was more of a bug fix. I don't know how many balance changes are actually in 1.02 plus. I believe most of the unofficial balance changes are in 1.03, while 1.02 plus is mostly just bug fixes. We do have 3 gravity stabilizers. Not quite the tier 3 tech. It looks like BikeRush is going to be taking the center expansion, which is good for him. This is exactly what Unleashed needs to be doing as well, but a good timing attack just as laser capacitor finishes, making those disintegrators, making the seeker tanks fall even quicker to the bikes, and while on the south side, disintegrators from BikeRush are going to be taking down those Tiberium spikes essentially for free, as there's nothing down there quite yet to deal with this, and buggies are just so good at tanking. BikeRush is not doing the damage to this, never mind, he is doing the damage to the bikes, which is what he needs to do. The buggies are going to be able to tank a lot of shots from the Seekers, and that's not really what BikeRush needs to be killing in that engagement. He needs to be taking down the bikes first and then going for the Seeker tanks, or rather Unleashed needs to be doing that. However, we do have the Redeemer is spotted, I'm assuming, although we'll have to see. Unleashed may be able to make some solid EMPs go off and do some serious damage with that Redeemer. Does he have EMP coil purchase? No, it's just laser capacitor at this point. Does he have it? No, it's not researching upgrade either. He has recalled down, I'm assuming. No, he hasn't called in any of those tier 4 support powers just yet. Where is the MCB? It redeployed over here. We could be seeing, although no, there's the Tiberium Vapor Bomb. Rather, not Tiberium Vein detonation. The stasis chamber going down once again, most likely going to be to lock those units down wherever he can. However, here is the Redeemer. That's probably what he's going to be locking down so that his Storm Riders can finish it off. A good transition, and the best part about this is that Unleashed is essentially unprepared since he lost all of his buggies, or nearly all of them. He has almost no way to actually deal with these Storm Riders. In the middle, that's actually just a scouting squad. The Rage Gen does go off, but spoiler alert, aircraft is what you need to be killing. Unleashed hardly did anything with that Rage Gen. He was maybe able to deny a little bit of micro by BikeRush, but considering that so much damage is being done by these 12 Storm Riders, there goes the Redeemer, a huge waste of credits by Unleashed. He definitely did not get the payback that he wanted. He'll even be losing that squad, but do we have the SAM turrets going down? We have lots of buggies, which is a solid choice. They don't die quite as quickly as the bikes. And going for Venoms could be a good choice. Most likely EMP coil is going to be going down, although no, Tiberium cores wouldn't be a bad idea either now that the SAM turrets are actually down. We do have one SAM turret going to be deployed. However, these harvesters are going to be targeted down very quickly. BikeRush going for the turrets themselves, a great move. Do we actually have dual MCV? Yes, we do. From Unleashed, he's got those dual MCVs, which will allow him to throw down those SAM turrets oh so quickly. Great reaction there by Unleashed. It is a little bit sloppy. He didn't scout it. There was tons of time for him to scout it, so you can nitpick here and there. But overall, really solid control there by Unleashed, and the reaction was almost perfect. It wasn't as good. This is not good control by Unleashed. He's like, hey, yeah, I'm going to donate free units to BikeRush here. I'm just giving them away to charity, essentially. Not the best control, but Unleashed doing relatively well overall. And taking this base is exactly what he needed. Now BikeRush cannot as easily take that base, considering that by the time he gets there, a couple of the loads of Tiberium will be already grabbed. However, we do need to see the sell-off of at least one of these refineries and the rebuilding of those harvesters. That'll likely be happening in the next couple of minutes, or the next minute or so. We do have more long-distance harvesting going on for BikeRush. He is really hurting for cash, but we'll have to see. His Storm Riders, I think at this point, they're just a bit too late. Tiberium Seed Tiberium is being called in by Unleashed. That'll get him an extra 10 grand or so, but BikeRush desperately needs to hold on to this blue field and these southern green fields from the destruction of those spikes. And I think it would almost be beneficial for Unleashed to simply sell off one of those refineries and then rebuild it, although it might not. And Unleashed, what are you actually doing? Nope, no buggies there. No buggies on the north side moving in to support this Marv. He doesn't have the numbers. He's got three buggies rather over there. That's simply not going to be enough. However, Tiberium core missiles is done, which will allow these Storm Riders to go down oh so quickly, but this is going to go down. That Redeemer should very well go down. No, BikeRush does pull back at the last moment, taking way too much damage from those SAM turrets. So you gotta hand it to Unleashed, able to save that Redeemer in just the last seconds. However, a little bit of a bugged Harvester here, unfortunately, for Unleashed. The Mechapedes have been spotted by the Venom. Ah, man, that air tower has been sitting there for 2 or 3 minutes now, and there's been almost no damage done because of it. Fortunately, air towers are relatively quick and cheap to build. But Unleashed hasn't been doing a lot of damage. He's more content to just sit on this field, harvest what he can, and I can't exactly blame him because he has been strapped for cash as well. The main key point for Unleashed over the next couple of minutes, and this is some next-gen sort of groundbreaking meta commentary you're about to hear, is holding this field. Now, that was, children, known as some degree of sarcasm. That is, of course, not groundbreaking by any means, but Unleashed is it, of course, absolutely imperative that he does hold on to this field for the remainder of this game. He's going to be throwing down the obelisk to focus fire. Perfect control fire there by Unleashed. He will be able to take down one of those Mechapedes instantly, and BikeRush currently isn't doing a lot of damage. Storm Riders have been called back versus these Storm Tanks. They do, although the Mechapedes, they do get that Tiberium, the Tiberium chemical plant, and the Venoms are going to be trying to force down the Mechapedes. It's not working very well because there's no SAM turrets here to support the Venoms. One more does go down. The Mechapede has been reduced to only one. They're going for that MCV, but BikeRush not actually going to be able to do the damage that he needs if he loses this last Mechapede, which if he is able to take out the MCV, good on him. However, throwing down 2 SAM turrets there, not exactly what he needs. He will be able to chase away the Storm Riders, and oh, no, never mind. Here are the stealth tanks coming in to save the MCV. BikeRush needs to mount an offensive. The Redeemer does go ahead and spot this MCV. He'll be able to crush down this Reaper tripod in a straight-up engagement, but going for the MCV is what he really wants to do. Although the EMPs could be good enough. No, the stasis field is even greater than that. However, that Reaper tripod now being regained control over here. Yep, that Mechapede did go down before the MCV did, and oh, this is very, very dangerous. Unleashed letting BikeRush get away with extra loads of Tiberium. As you can see, this is exactly what BikeRush needed to do, is get in close with his Reaper tripods. He's going to instantly EMP and re-EMP that Redeemer exactly like that. He's going to do buttloads of damage to this as well. He's got that Tiberium, he's got in the infused Tiberium beams, and man, that Redeemer went down so fast, taking damage to the rear armor with those extra infused Tiberium beams. It wouldn't even be a bad idea to get reversion core or conversion reserves. I was thinking converves, and I don't even know what I was thinking because the words weren't actually real. However, it wouldn't be a bad idea to do that. The Vertigo Bomber is a good choice. The splash damage isn't going to be as great as it could against Spectres. A solid idea, but he really needs some brunt, some meat in his army. He's been able to harvest the majority of this field, but his harvesters are all going down. BikeRush likely going to be pushing in here to make even better use of those EMPs. The War Factory does get sold off, but that is simply not going to be enough, as the Vertigos simply aren't enough to stop this attack. Neither is 2 obelisks. It'll be enough to really slow things down. The money hit with that Vertigo Bomber, taking out 2 of those Reaper tripods, and now Unleashed may actually stand a chance if he's able to get the perfect bombing runs and really take down these Reaper tripods. One more hit could take it down. No, he splits the damage, which unfortunately is causing a lot of lag for right there. I don't know exactly why. However, he needs to be focusing down these tripods to really hit them. But how do you decide to focus down the tripods when you've got engineers going to be constantly pumped out to reclaim the tripod husks? Even this Avatar husk could likely get captured. And so that is what Unleashed is looking to prevent, is to take down that portal and take down the... Oh, he doesn't get the Avatar in time. He does take down the portal, but the thing is, the MCV is right here. Portal is going to be rebuilt in about 5 seconds. Well, maybe a little bit longer since BikeRush is low on cash. However, good sniping of those husks from BikeRush. He doesn't want his opponent to capture them, and he's already got 3, well, two avatars, 2 tripods, and an avatar, rather. Could go ahead and recap that. Unleashed needs to make sure that he takes it out. No, he's actually going to be going for a complete miss there. So that was a mistake. Unleashed not exactly with the perfect decisions, but BikeRush hasn't been making perfect decisions for this game either. Oh, we do have pretty good sell-off of the buildings, but the sell-off of the MCV could be a very dangerous thing indeed. Although as long as one of the MCVs does still stand, then Unleashed won't be in too bad of a position. But this game coming down to the wire at this last base for both players. BikeRush going to be able to hold off these Vertigos for a little while. He's taking too much damage from the Vertigos, considering that there are a total of 5 of them right now. A 6th one could be added on, although I don't know if that is warranted. Seekers are going to be joining the front line, but they currently do have enough firepower to take down a Vertigo in one go, which means that now for BikeRush, he was relatively safe, and Unleashed is relatively unsafe, although that engineer almost getting sniped, not a huge deal. But Unleashed, what can he actually do to get out of this predicament that BikeRush has placed him into? Perhaps selling off some tech would be the way to go, but there's almost no Tiberium left on the map that is easy to secure for Unleashed. He has no refineries on the front line. BikeRush does not either. He has nothing anywhere close by, but does he have a gravity stabilizer? He sold off the MCV and no gravity stabilizer, or did he sell off the MCV? Let me just make a quick pass around. He's going to be engaging this base and trying to possibly get out an extra Reaper tripod, although maybe, no, it will be just simply a Shard Walker. Doesn't have any of the upgrades just yet, which some of those upgrades, attenuated force fields in particular, is quite good and definitely a recommendation. Well, it does allow your Shard Walkers and your Seeker Tanks to take a couple of extra hits, 2 or 3 from avatars. However, oh, look at that, going in for a couple of more passes from those Vertigo Bombers. Only able to claim 1 Gunwalker, but that is an extra Gunwalker that BikeRush no longer has. And we could be seeing some serious heroic stealth tank micro from Unleashed. We'll have to see if it is true. The stealth tank heading down to the south side. If he's able to snipe down that refinery power plant and this refinery and power plant, that would be a pretty huge deal, considering that would be no more harvesters, or at least no more places for the harvesters to dock. And the MCV going to be pulled back. Can't say I disagree with this. Unleashed and BikeRush both doing a really good job of not letting their fields regrow. Well, oftentimes in these maps, as we pass, you know, the 20 or 30 minute mark, you can see players letting their main fields or their natural expansions regrow on this map. Quite common to actually see Gunwalkers and Seekers going to be moving in to do a little bit of damage, but the Vertigos will get possibly some great... Nope. No! BikeRush was controlling too well for that to happen. Takes out the Seeker Tank. Solid move. Does he have an extra air tower somewhere? No, I do not think he actually does, so this is the only place for them to recover. But Unleashed desperately needs to hold the line on this field, but it looks like BikeRush is going to be going for the expansion, and that will be absolutely devastating. However, taking down the Harvesters of BikeRush is also going to be devastating. Needs to make sure that he hunts down both of these Harvesters and does not let them escape, because all eco denying that can happen at this point should happen. The mass sell-off. Unleashed is going to say, you are going to claim none of these buildings. I will sell them all off. BikeRush going to be grabbing that Tiberium spike, considering that he did lose his spikes a while ago. And oh, 1 Harvester will get sniped. This is a pretty big deal for Unleashed, considering that was 3/4 full of Tiberium. Oh, the Tiberium... No, it is just going to be the mines. However, with the Seeker Tanks there, they will not do too much damage, unfortunately. And the Rage Gen didn't already go off. It needs to go off once these Reaper tripods are in range, if it has not already gone off. He might be trying to focus down on the ground. Good control there by BikeRush, going to be avoiding the majority of that damage from that Rage Gen. Moving in with the Disintegrators is a great choice, considering it is going to be double Engineer and no Black Hand Squad. However, the Shredder Turret going to be destroying many of these Disintegrator squads. The Seeker Tank, or the Stealth Tank rather, going to be getting in. And the Vertigo's great bombing there by Unleashed. He will be able to do a huge amount of damage to that tripod, but it does lock down the Redeemer. Once again, great bombings there by Unleashed. I do not think it'll be enough, even with the dual engineers. However, the Flame squads are going to be able to take down the majority of those Disintegrator squads. A couple of more coming in from the side, but Unleashed controlling too well with that Harvester. The Redeemer does indeed fall, which is the majority of the firepower for Unleashed. And the Husk does get taken out. But can BikeRush hold on in these last few moments? I don't know if the Vertigos are going to be enough. They EMP'd the air tower and take it down. This is likely going to be the end once the MCV goes down for Unleashed. BikeRush may be able to just EMP the MCV to guarantee nothing else will be coming out of that MCV. Unfortunately for Unleashed, I think this is going to be the end. There's almost no way that he can take down an Avatar and a Reaper tripod with just infantry and no rocket squads. Yeah, that's just infantry on the south side, and especially considering this is now a fully elite Reaper tripod, very hard to actually overcome. Calling in those repair drones, and once this Avatar gets stomping around on these infantry forces, it will be over. Unleashed has been defeated in a blockbuster match versus BikeRush. BikeRush able to bring it out in the end, do some serious damage with some solid engagements there. But in the end, I really have to think that it was those resources that Unleashed simply was not able to put to good use. He lost a lot to some of those engagements with BikeRush, although not a huge amount of mistakes from either player. A couple of things of note, I'm sure, but BikeRush holding on to that center field at the end was really what allowed him to power through to that victory, even though he did have to sell off his MCV to make it happen. However, that will do it for this game. This is Sybert, signing out.